Yesterday was interesting. I banged my head. My name is Kim Cavell. I am an actor and filmmaker, and these are Diaries of a Filmmaker. This is my diary entry in the lead up to my pitch reel shoot. When I first started making these, the intention was to kind of just document how I felt on a day-to-day, very right there and then moment, as opposed to the docuseries, which is very real, but it's definitely, there's a little bit of orchestra to it. It's like watching a documentary, right? Which is different to kind of a video diary entry. And at the beginning of this process, I wanted to let go and heal through a bunch of shit going into this shoot, because I knew how important the shoot was for me, and I knew that I couldn't be the best filmmaker, producer, I couldn't write the best lines, I certainly couldn't play Vivian Banks in the way that I wanted to see her come to life if I hadn't have dealt with those last niggling things. Now, throughout the whole filmmaking process, development process of the script and film, I've worked through a lot of shit because it's so personal, and because it's so personal. On like 30 days of shit that I had to work through. And obviously healing or dealing with whatever the fuck, it is not like let's sit down on a Tuesday afternoon and deal with this one thing. No, it crops up how it crops up, and then you deal with it. That's how it's gonna go. And I'm looking down this list of things by sheer focus on me, and focus on showing up for me, and focusing on showing up for my projects and my endeavors, and believing in those endeavors, and holding myself to that high standard, showing up in my job how I want to show up, and communicating how I want to communicate, apologizing if I make mistakes and things like that. I've worked through these things without having to kind of sit down and meditate and go to talk therapy, or that just doesn't seem to work for somebody like myself. I don't know whether it's on this list, but it definitely should be. On the two big, I guess, issues for me growing up were money and body dysmorphia. Those two things, the confidence with regard to money and the confidence with regard to my body and the way that I look. Some of that is from DNA. I think a lot of it is from how you were brought up also. And then there's things like, bullying and stuff at school. And when I look back at the people that really relentlessly said mean shit, those were the two areas that they definitely honed it on. Was like what I was wearing, how my hair looked, how my skin looked, how my body looked. And then also kind of like my dad, what he did for a living, what side of work, what side of town we lived on, what kind of clothes you could afford and things like that. So those are the things that I remember really being painful growing up, and carrying on into adult life, obviously. So yesterday, I bumped my head. And I just thought of something right now. I'm literally filming this. I bumped my head on a job site. Two different worlds. The world that I am working in, and then a world that is only a few weeks away. When I arrived, I felt like a small amount of, am I feeling out of place? Kind of like your first day at a special school. And that special school, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is going into the special school, Hogwarts, right? And he is so destined to be there. Out of everybody, he's so destined to be there. But because of the way that he's brought up, and he's told that he's not really destined to be there, and he doesn't know that he's destined to be there, he still feels out of place when he arrives. Yesterday, when I was on this job, I was working not in the film industry side, I was working on the outside. And when I arrived, I felt this weird back and forth, like riding the wave of the in-between of the two worlds, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working two full-time jobs, then I'm paying everybody on set to go do this pitch reel. It's very double life energy. I got to the studio lot. So what about my normal day in my world of making smoothies and doing my thing? And I'm really happy and proud and grateful to be part of that world. And I just said, thank you, God, thank you, universe, showing me a world that is not far from my world, and where I know that you're placing me, and I know that I belong. But thank you for this opportunity to do what I do today, and not feel any kind of way about it, not feel like out of place because I'm here doing not what I unquote want to do, but just being present and just doing what I do. And in doing what I do, I banged my head. I knew it hurt, but I didn't know until my friend, my boss, told me, hey, and I went like this, and there was blood. The gig was pretty much over anyway, and I had to go to the other side of town and start like my regular work for the day. And so I drove with my boss and we had some really nice discussions about business and family and just ideas. Just he's an entrepreneur, he's a business owner, family man, you know, I really respect and look up to him, but I don't feel so disconnected and different from him or my other friend and boss, his wife. I don't. I feel very a similar mindset with his business ideas, stories. I mentioned what I was doing. Now they know that what I'm doing, but I keep my cards pretty close to my chest. At the end of that day, it just showed me how far I've come emotionally in letting go of those like kind of money wounds and money block. I already knew that I had because I already felt it and I already saw it in my physical reality. But in also talking to my sister, she, you know, blatantly pointed it out. She said, I don't know if I've quite broken that cycle, and I think that you have. And it came to light, especially because my dad's mom died a few days ago. It made me remember visiting her, seeing where my dad grew up, and knowing about and feeling his trauma to do with his upbringing and to do with how little his parents encouraged him and how little they supported his endeavors. To remember that house or that environment and think about my life now, and to think about little me going to that house, you know, I wouldn't want to go up there. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I didn't like my house growing up. As a kid, I didn't really know that there was anything wrong with that, or I didn't like resent the house until I started to get a bit older and go to other people's homes and just was like, man, I just prefer your house. It just like feels nicer and it's decorated nice and it's all working and stuff. So it's not like I grew up in a hovel, but I definitely felt like that really early on. Like there were certain things, there were certain preferences that I just wanted in my reality, and I guess for my future and for myself. The death of my dad's mom really brought me back to those core memories of poverty and limited beliefs that they place on my dad, and my dad intrinsically, whether he liked to or not, had on himself and put on his kids. You know, it kept you limited. And I think that's a reality for a lot of people. It's such a contrast to where I'm at right now. I have people around me, whether it be in work and business or even online, owners of companies and stuff that are seeing the stuff that I'm doing and they're believing and wanting to help, and it's a weird feeling. I knew that the film, the product, to me, the way it's going to be marketed is it's $1 million product, not a $1 million product. It's definitely over a $5 million product. I just know that. I'm seeing the evidence of that from people who I respect, and I respect their business sense and their moral sense. That's something that I bear in mind when I think of achieving certain things. I just want to show certain people that if I can do it, then, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. That's a big part of the docuseries doing Netflix. It's a big part of me sharing how I feel right now. It's a big part of me showing that, hey, I work 2 full-time jobs, I'm getting paid minimum wage, and I'm getting you your daily rate because I just worked non-stop to make that happen. I'm not poor me. I just think that I have no time to waste. Like, let's go. And the people that have seen me in that mode have helped me in the ways that they can and do. And I'm forever grateful for those people. At the end of the day, it was me running the ball most of the field. Hey, it was highlighted this morning, hey, that money wound that was like one of your big 2, I'm not saying it's completely gone, but it's very, very fucking healed right now. You know, I just paid off a huge credit card, which is a big deal. And I did that while up-leveling other things to a very reasonable degree. I learned my lesson of like up-level your income and then up-level your lifestyle like a smidge. I was also able to make this project happen and pay for it on my dime. Not only did I know that the money wound was healed,
inside, I'm seeing the reality of that on the outside, which is really nice and beautiful. Just in time for the pitch reel to go into that with that confidence, right?
And I need that because there's a part of me in the run-up getting a little bit scared, going a little bit like, oh my God, I'm going to give you some numbers that are not real just because I am very private. But for instance, if the shoot was $50,000, in my mind, I would want $100,000 in my account just in case I needed some money to double the pay. You know what I'm saying? That's like a bit of a fear. There's a bit of a scarcity. Oh shit, I need extra because you remember what it's like to run out of money. You have that money block cleared, and to be shown that it's clear to you and that you've healed that part of you right before I film in 2 weeks is a huge fucking blessing. Yesterday, towards the end of the day, second big block for me, or wound or sore spot for me, was my looks, my body dysmorphia. It's been shown to me through my insecurities, it's been shown to me through my disordered eating, it's been shown through my limiting beliefs in the way that I self-sabotage certain things, particularly as it does to abundance as it pertains to the way that I look. And certain people had said certain things about the way that I look. Not a lot of people, a couple of people really. It's a million things that stuck with me. I don't need somebody to compliment me 24/7, but if someone turned around to you and said, I need to date someone hotter to get over my ex, that stings when you know that they know you struggle with the way that you look. It's not that it's anybody's fault, it's things like that really hurt. I'd done a lot of work to work through my body dysmorphia issues and could see it creep up and to sort of go, take a step back and go, why are you feeling like this? And is it because of this? And and unpack it and get to a really healthy point with my body and my weight and the way that I feel about that. But I didn't know until last night. Somebody, I think they meant it as a compliment. She's a very intellectual person, so she just said, oh, you look thinner. I said, oh, in the face? I hadn't seen her in maybe only just like a couple of months. She said, no, just everywhere. Yeah, I've been chipping away at my body fat, yeah. And then I started to get a little bit emotional. Hold for sound. I was explaining to her that maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, definitely 2, 3, 4, 10 years ago, a comment like that would have really affected me. It would have affected me like 2 ways. Oh, I'm thinner now, so back then I was not very good, or I didn't look so good, or I used to look like shit, and you know, this is the internal dialogue, right? Or the compliment would have meant so much to me that it would have been such a huge validation, which is also not very good. You know, your weight and how people comment on your weight should not affect you as much as it used to. And when she said that, I was just so overwhelmed with how much better I was and how I'd worked through that. And I said, hey, I'm emotional because this is data. I've just collected some data, and the data reads like, yes, I've dropped body fat. Yes, it was intentional. Whether it was intentional or not, I have preferences. The preferences are this or a little bit leaner. And I'm okay with that. But however the weight goes up and down, and however I look and grow and change, the effect that it had on how I felt about myself was so minimal. And I was like, holy shit, I guess the way that you look isn't driving you insane anymore. And I didn't know that until someone commented on it, because you can be all healed and bullshit in the privacy of your own home, but then when you go outside and somebody says something that would trigger, I hate that word, would trigger, push your buttons, and then you fall back to square one. How healed are you? Not really, right? Those 2 big things were my big insecurity. And 2 weeks away from shoot, yes, I bumped my head, Harry Potter, but I let go of like 2 major blocks. It's these things that are the difference between me achieving my goals and achieving the level of kind of success and happiness that I know that I'm already like embodying or not. They're the difference. It's not the script. The script has been $1 million script for over a year now. I have been an extremely talented actor for several fucking years now. I have had brilliant ideas most of my fucking life. I've always been a really hard worker, always intelligent, and always had an ability to be athletic and to be able to be on camera and have energy and bring that to. My eyes haven't got any bluer. The difference between me making my dreams come true or not was me letting go of all of those limiting beliefs and bullshit and blockages that I knew that I was ripping through, but I'm just seeing the evidence of the fact that I just fucking murdered those motherfuckers. So satisfying, and just so proud of myself just for that. Not for the win. I know I'm gonna get the win. I know that I'm gonna get my film financed. The film financed is a external example of the inner work that I've done, and I just got the data back that said, oh yeah, no, you healed that shit. You're aware of it, and it's still there. Because it's dust that I'm still going to sweep out the door, but it's gone, it's dead. And it's a really fucking cool feeling. I'm really happy and proud of myself. Yeah, I hope that this helped anybody watching to stay the course and to know that you will see the evidence of the inner work that you've done. And it's a really fucking beautiful thing to see. That's it. If this was helpful, please give it a like for me and pushing the algorithm and positive messages out there. If you didn't like it, why did you watch it till the end? Bye.